Hello everyone, welcome to this Options Talk 21 between Raghunath and me. And it has been every weekend we have been discussing how markets are going on and on. And for the first time this week, I cautioned something based on the call chart, and that will be interesting to see how it goes forward. But again, that second half buying which suddenly came on Friday, that creates a doubt. But let us straight away look at the charts and see what they are suggesting now. No point in looking at the Nifty and Bank Nifty chart because even now they are still bullish on a EOD basis. But just to see what the call and put charts suggest, let me go back to the 13,500 call chart which I had tweeted. When I tweeted, it was around here in the first half on Friday, around 240 or 230. After it went down all the way to 170, and it has created some sort of a topping pattern, which I always look for. Because first of all, you see, there was a bearish anchor column here on 10th of December. It went below that, but there is a bullish anchor column on 9th of December, the low of which is near 165, 170. So unless it settles below 165, there is still caution for any shorts. That is something which you have to, because it took support around the same area where this anchor column starts. So the real bearishness in this call will be below 165. So that you need to keep in your mind. Uh, what does the put chart suggest? Let me see. What does the Nifty put suggest? 13,600. That has given a good, not an anchor column, but it is just 13 boxes, and this is a 3% chart. So here, this is some kind of bullishness. But again, like I said, the buying which came on in the second half on Friday, that creates some kind of caution for the bears. So unless this gives a follow through above this, so the DTB double top buy is above 310. Only then I'm sure that time that 13,500 call also will break 165. So these are the two levels which you need to keep in mind. 13,600 put above 310 and 13,500 call below 165. In Bank Nifty, okay, let me see the chart of Nifty futures on an intraday basis. Now again, there is a bearish anchor column on Friday, which there was quite a bit of selling after in the afternoon. So the high of this is near 13,585. So as long as Nifty does not cross 13,585, you can, this does not get negated. So any bearish signs below 13,585 will also be a sign to go short, with of course stop loss below 13,585, 590. Only if it sustains above 1390, 13,590, and also the call is showing some bullishness, then you can think of some bullishness going forward. So these are the levels on Bank Nifty, sorry, Nifty futures. On Bank Nifty futures, on an intraday basis, this is the chart where again there is a bearish anchor column on Thursday as well as Friday. But if you see these lows which are near 13,000, 30,320, again a similar low on the, and which is an anchor column on both the days. One was 9th December, the other was 11th December. So unless, as long as Bank Nifty is above 30,300 on futures, it can bounce back. Of course, at the top, this 30,800, 30,900 will become a resistance in any case. So this is the 500, 600 points band on Bank Nifty, which is 30,300 on the lower side and 30,800, 900 on the higher side. So you have to be cautious at the extremes. If you are bearish, you need to be cautious at the lower side. If you are bullish, you need to be cautious on the higher side. And if it remains range bound, you can trade that range as long as it does not break on either side. Now coming to the options chart of Bank Nifty monthly options, the 30,500 call also shows the bearishness here, and this also shows some kind of topping out pattern like the 13,500 call on Nifty. And in fact, the 30,500 put of Bank Nifty, sorry, let me refresh it. Yeah. So here again, there is a bearish column on Friday, which has not been negated because Bank Nifty, the put did not go above this. So this is 845. So unless Bank Nifty 30,500 put goes above 850, this can face selling. Selling in the put. That means bullishness is Bank Nifty. So these are enough levels to track Monday onwards. But one thing which troubles me is this put call ratio. In fact, this was also at the back of my mind when I tweeted that on around midday on Friday. This was why this is okay. What is this in the first place? There are four lines which you see. One is the put call ratio of 13,500 and 13,600 of the weekly expiry. You can see on the left hand side, left top, the names are given. Nifty 17th December 13,500, 17th December 13,600 are the green and red lines, and 13,500 31st December and 13,600 31st December are the bottom two. So what happened on Friday was this 13,500 put call ratio of 17 December went all the way to almost 1.5. Naturally, because the Nifty also went all the way to 13,570, on the spot, and futures almost did 13,600. But this did not sustain and fell sharply when the sell-off came. And right now it is at 0.84. So this put call ratio needs to cross 1.2 and eventually needs to cross 1.5 for Nifty to remain bullish till 17th December expiry. So this is one put call ratio which is important. At the same time, the red line, which is the 13,600 put call ratio. Of course, Bank Nifty had almost touched, Nifty had almost touched 13,600, but this high was only zero point 0.4. Now, what does 0.4 mean? 0.4 means the ratio of the put call ratio at 13,600 is zero point 0.4. That means put upon call is zero point 0.4. That means the number of puts are 0.4 the number of calls, which means calls are two and a half times that of puts. So that has to improve for that bullishness, for that level to become bullish. And 13,600, this put call ratio, of course, will not cross one unless Nifty crosses 13,600. That's why you need to keep an eye on 13,500 and 13,600. On a monthly basis, also it is showing something similar. The 13,500 put call ratio for 31st December went only up to 0.775, the yellow line. Of course, it did not fall as deeply as the 17th December put call ratio, but it is not yet showing bullishness. Although Nifty is well above 13,500 on a closing basis, what I have observed over the years, and I mean, this is something which is complete observation over the last more than 10 years, when a put call ratio at a specific strike price remains above 1.2, only then that strike price is in safe hands. And especially this, of course, happens only in the money puts. This will never happen at the money, because automatically, if, for the strike price to become at the money, the put call ratio has to go up. Here we see that though this is a bit in the money, this is still only 0.7. I would have called this level as bullish only if this was above 1.2. And the other one, the 13,600, that is only 0.32. So these two put call ratios suggest that market might not sustain for a long time above 13,500 and definitely not above 13,600. So these are levels for one to be cautious as far as bullish trades are concerned. And of course, it doesn't mean you should sell everything and go short and all that. It just means that you need to be cautious in your longs, especially if you are holding longs for a long time. It's better to trail tightly. And even if it's a fresh long you are looking at, it should have a very good and affordable and maybe a very uh, tight stop loss. That is what it means. These are times for caution. One stock which I had covered last week was Axis Bank. It did show bullishness on a couple of days, but immediately after that, it faced selling on Friday. And this was the action on the 620 put. There is an anchor column here. So the next follow through, which will be a double top by above 31, that will be an interesting trade on Axis Bank put. The low, if this low does not break, which is near 26, so above 31 with a stop loss of 25 will be a possible trade in the Axis Bank put, 620 put. So that is all from my side. Any questions, Raghunath? Otherwise, you can take over.
So overall, the market looks, overextended and, looks like,
Yeah,
some kind of trend is decelerating or the momentum is going down right now,
correct.
correct? So
Yeah,
I
that is what it
wanted
seems.
to,
And only problem is, in fact, the problem is now almost every Tom, Dick, and Harry is throwing caution to the winds and saying market is going up. Now they are talking about December rally. They're talking about Santa rally. They're talking
yeah,
about market never falls down. So this is some kind of euphoria. I would not say euphoria, but this is blind bullishness, I would say.
yes. I mean, it's mostly, see, this kind of bullishness you're seeing because of liquidity mainly.
Yes.
And last time when this happened was around this 2004-2007 period, when there was
Mm-hmm.
huge liquidity. This is exactly what happened during that period because money was
Okay.
flowing around. And same
But
thing is
do you have any statistics on what happened closer to the top near 2000 end of 2007 in
not
terms of
really.
how?
I didn't prepare any chart on that. But actually, I
Okay.
wanted to show something like, if you hand over me the.
Yeah, I'll make you the presenter now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, I wanted to show you that, why there is a lot of liquidity.
Yeah, sure. You take over now.
That, yeah. And I wanted to show that what these FIIs are doing here.
Yeah, okay. Now you're the presenter.
Okay. Can you see the screen?
Yeah,
So if you look, this is the net FII and DII trading activity.
yeah, pumping
And
daily.
there are some, yeah, and there are some, some days where, DIS had upper hand and, they sold more than what FIIs have bought. But if you look
Hmm.
at their individual, uh, uh, the buying, overall buying and selling net figures, if you look, FIIs are still buying. They're
Yeah,
not, uh, they're not stopping at all at any point of time. I
correct.
mean, more than month, it's almost 45 days, I think. There is not one red day where they have not
Correct. Yeah.
net buying figures.
Hmm.
And on the other hand, the DAs are, keep on selling, and they're keeping on absorbing this, and this is getting reflected in the charts. And
Yeah.
I would not short this market until unless these guys are going to stop at some point. Uh, so that is one my question. If anybody is thinking of shorting this market, is that look at these figures and just think about that. That
Yeah, there is no point in attempting to catch it out. Let the
yeah,
FIIs tell, let this green bar become red maybe over a
become
couple
red.
of days
Yeah.
and then think of shorting.
Yes. So I would add that point to your point that longs should be cautious and shorts should also be cautious. They should not go on shorting also.
Yeah.
Okay. So now today's I'll go to my topic,
Yeah.
which is ratio spreads, and these are one strange kind of option strategy because it has so many factors baked in, and it has to be done on in specific conditions. It cannot be done, every time, every month or something like that. Not like short straddle or short strangle, not like that. So this
Hmm.
should be done under specific conditions, and I will talk about those conditions and what are these ratio spreads. Okay, these standard disclaimers that future stocks and options trading involves substantial risk, and so please do your due diligence. So ratio spread is an option strategy that involves buying a near the money call or put option and at the same time selling a higher number of out of the money call or put options of same expiry. Now ratio spreads can be executed for credit or even in the sense that the the credit that you're getting is equal to the debit that you're paying for buying the option or even debit. So I will show you examples for this. And commonly used ratio spreads are 1 to 2, and 1 to 2 is the major one. And then the other flavors are 2 to 3 ratio or 1 to 4 ratio or 3 to 5 ratio. And on the left side is the one where you buy, and on the right side of the ratio is the one where the number of contracts that you sell. Okay, so this is a typical example of a ratio spread. This is a 1 to 2 ratio, and I took the example of Nifty. Here we are buying a uh, at the money put option, which is 13,500 put, and then we are selling 2 out of the money put options, which is 13,200 put. Now this is 1 to put ratio spread. Now, if you look, as I said in the previous slide, that it can be for debit, or it can be for credit, or it can be in even. So in this case, it is pretty much even, right? It's 196 is your debit that you have paid to buy this option, and the credit that you are getting is 99 into 2, 198. So it's almost even, right? So you're not paying anything extra, and you're not getting anything extra in this particular ratio spread. Now, if I go back to this same ratio spread, and I can make this into a debit spread as well by simply buying, 13,600, a little bit in the money put option, and make it into a debit, right? Here I'm paying more, but I'm getting less from my short options. Then that becomes a debit ratio spread here. And I can make the same thing into a credit as well by simply going slightly out of the money, the buy option, right? So here I'm getting a credit of around 3,000 bucks, right? Because the credit that I'm getting, which is 198, is more than the amount I paid. So in this ratio spreads, anything can happen. It could be even, you could also receive credit, or you could also pay the money to place this strategy. So we'll go back to our normal ratio spread. So depending on what kind of view you have on the market, you can take that kind of spread, debit, even, or credit. All right. Now, this is one example, and similarly, you can have the 1-to-2 call ratio spread, where you could buy 13,500 call and sell 13,800 call, 2 contracts of 13,800 call. Okay, and if you look at the Greeks of these ratio spreads of that particular same put ratio spread strategy, right? Here, if you look at the theta, okay, one more thing is that it's a complex and high risk strategy due to a net short option. It is complex because it has multiple components of Greeks involved, and high risk strategy because it has a net short option. So here one more short option, and that is why it is a risky strategy as well. And if you look at the Greeks, you see that it has a short volatility bias, as there is one net short of options, right? There is one extra short option. So obviously it is natural that it has a short volatility bias. But if you look at the Vegas, it has a short Vega position. Okay, it is a short Vega, it is negative, minus 821. So this strategy, this ratio spread strategy, will benefit when the volatility drops. When your implied volatility drops, this strategy will benefit. So for example, if this strategy drops by 1%, you will gain by this much amount, 821, for this particular strategy. And assuming that everything else remains unchanged. Now, ratio spreads are also positive theta, and therefore benefits from passage of time. AP, are you asking something?
No, sorry.
Okay. So here it is positive theta. Positive theta means if there is a theta decay, then your strategy will benefit as the time passes and nothing happens in the market, right? So why you are theta positive? Because you are short to 2 options, okay, and that is the reason you have this positive theta. So net you have one short position, and that is why you are positive theta. So your negative volatility and positive theta. And it also captures moderate underlying moves. If you look here, it will capture moderate underlying moves, right? If it moves very small, you're fine. But if it moves very big, then that can be dangerous. So it can capture moderate underlying moves. So in summary, due to their short vega and positive theta characteristics, ratio spreads are most effective when one is expecting a low magnitude directional move coupled with either declining implied volatility or passage of time. So these three things should favor for ratio spreads to work out. Decrease in implied volatility and passage of time. So nothing is happening in the market as the time passes, and a small moves, directional moves in the market, whether in your favor or against your favor. So like, small move in your direction. Not very fast, but very small directional moves. And while this is happening, if the theta, there is also theta depreciation, and if also the volatility drops, then it's amazing. That's the best of all worlds for this particular strategy. Theta decay and drop in volatility with time will increase the value of the ratio spread by increasing the directionality of the trade. So for example, the delta of put ratio spreads decreases while that of call ratio spread increases. Okay, so what happens here is that if you look at the Greeks here the delta, positional delta is 7, right? It's actually positive. Okay, so as the time passes and the volatility decreases, what happens is that this curve, if you look at this t plus 0 line, t plus 0 line is indicating that if the market goes down, you're going to lose, right? But as the time passes and the volatility drops, this t plus 0, it will go like this. Instead, it will go like this. Okay, so the value of your ratio spread increases as the time passes or the volatility drops, and your t plus 0 becomes like this overall. And then what happens is that your Greek, in this case, okay, and then what happens is that your Greek will reduce. This will become negative for the put ratio spread, and this will increase for a call ratio spread. The call ratio spread will be opposite, right? Instead it will be like this, and then a tent like this. So for call ratio spreads, the delta will increase. For put ratio spreads, the delta will decrease because it takes more directionality. More directionality in the sense, so if it is negative, it is taking negative direction. But it is, the market goes down, you are going to benefit because this t plus 0 line will go like this. Okay, so these two factors are very important, which is theta decay and drop in volatility. Okay, so what are the situations that favor ratio spreads? So contra trend moves are, so when the market corrects from overbought or oversold conditions, then you have your contra trend moves, right? So if this is a trend, this is a bullish trend, right? Now it has tagged on this upper trend line, and then it's going into slight correction or sideways movement. Okay, this is a contra trend move, right? We are seeing these two contra trend moves, and perhaps even now we might see some slight contra trend move. So when that happens, right, then you can do a ratio spread. Okay, for example, let's assume that here we are seeing a slight contra trend move here, right, in the current conditions, because it has tagged this upper trend line. So let's say now I'm doing a ratio spread here. Okay. So I buy a 13,500 put and I short 13,200 put, two contracts, right? Now, if this is a contra trend move and it corrects only a little bit, not too much, but only a little bit, okay, maybe 200, 300 points, then this strategy works perfectly, right? That is what it is, designed for, to trade the contra trend moves. When there is a strong trend and it is slightly correcting, then that's a time you have to put this kind of trade. Right? Small corrections, small moves, and decrease in volatility and passage of time. This will all favor your ratio spread in this case. And if if the trend resumes in this case, and let's say if the market again goes into a bullish mode, it goes even further up, then there is no problem because you're not going to lose from this strategy, right? You can also design this strategy in such a way that you can also benefit from even if it goes up. Instead of 13,500 put, you can buy a 13,400 call, right? In this case, even if nothing happens, even if the market goes up, you can still benefit from this, right? But the important part is that the correction should be very minimal and it should be
Sorry,
slow.
you meant 13,400 put, right?
Yes, you
Buying.
buy a
Yeah.
13,400 put instead of 13,500.
Yeah.
So you get a credit. So even if market goes, you don't have worry if the trend resumes. Your contra trend here is only under the assumption that it will not correct too much, but only slightly. Something like this, 200, 300 points, not more than that. And of course, there are many, what you say, uh, adjustment methods by which you can adjust this method if something goes wrong on the downside. If let's say it suddenly drops by 200, 300 points, and you want to take off this risk, this undefined risk, right? Then what you can do is that you can simply buy out of the money put. So let's say here is the 200 wing, then I can simply go and buy 13,000 put, let's say, and then I simply take off my risk. And if it moves somewhere here, you're still under this tent, right? Under this butterfly body. So you'll still gain from this strategy, even if it moves suddenly. And even if something goes wrong and it doesn't work in your favor, and you already taken off this risk, and you should still be fine. You will not be losing a lot in this strategy. So that way, if you do this kind of strategy under specific conditions, like contra trend moves, then you are ready with your adjustments. If something goes wrong, then this strategy is very good to do. It's very favorable. But you have to be always aware that this is a very complex strategy and also risky because you have undefined risk. So if you are feeling very risky when the market is suddenly moving down, then you simply take off that risk by buying out of the money put. And it will be the same, if your market is trending down and you are betting on a contra trend move, then it will be the same, but in the opposite direction. You will do with call ratio spread, and the strategy will be the same. So what is the other situation that favor ratio spreads? That is when there is a trend acceleration, when the market loses momentum and takes a pause. For example, is a Bajaj Finance. The market has trended a lot and now it is losing momentum, right? Here again, you could do something like put ratio spread. I'm not suggesting anything here. It's only an example. So please do your due diligence and don't jump in directly without understanding the situation. So again, you could do something like this, that when the market is pausing, which is in a strong uptrend, again you do like this, and then you can still benefit if the market resumes uptrend, and if there is a slight correction, you can benefit from that. And if there's a sudden move in the downward trend, then you buy a put option to take off the risk. So that two conditions, one is contra trend move, one is trend acceleration. Again, this can be upward trend, or it could be downward trend also. And then the third situation that favors is a volatility skew. Okay. So what is volatility skew? Is when your out of the money options are relatively more expensive than at the money options or near the money options. So how you can benefit from this is that you buy cheaper near the money options and sell expensive out of the money options. And once this volatility skew normalizes, then you benefit from that ratio spread, right? I will give you an example. Now, in the Opstra, if you go to volatility skew, I'm looking at a one where there is a strong volatility skew. So, for example, Bank of Baroda, it has a strong volatility, not very strong, but a slight volatility skew on the call side. When it is negative, it means calls, out of the money calls are more expensive than at the money calls. Okay. So if you go and look at those, the volatility skew, so at the money is currently 65. So 65 is around 72, and slightly out of the money you go, it's around 75, something like that. So what you can do is that, as I said, you buy near the money options, sell expensive out of the money options, right? So let's go to Bank of Baroda. So we buy at the money call option. So here it's option IV is around 72 and buy it. And then I short two out of the money calls. So it's around 70. So maybe I can go to 75. Yeah. So here you can see option IV is around 78. It's much higher, right? So maybe I can sell two options here. Okay. So this is the scenario here. Okay. Now, so this is the problem here is that there is a loss if nothing happens here. So maybe I can make it into 3. So I'm only showing this for example purpose. So don't go and trade this. So now, okay, if nothing happens, I'm fine. But here our aim is not direction. Okay, our aim only is that the volatility skew normalizes. So what is happening if you observe the Greeks, right? The Greek of the IV of 75 call is 78. The IV of 65 is call is 72. Okay. So when it normalizes, let's assume that this becomes 70, this becomes also 70. Let's assume that it's normalizing, or it could go to 68 and this could go to 60. Okay. So now if I do that, okay, we have that ability to do that here. So observe this T plus 0 line. Currently the T plus 0 line is close to around 0, right? Now if I change my IV of this particular leg 75 call to 70, okay, now you see here I'm getting around 9,600 bucks if this reduces to 70, right? T plus 0 line, watch. Okay, and at the same time, let's assume it's not like that only IV of one option reduces, also the other options can also reduce, right? if I this bring down to 68, then what happens? So instead of 9,000, it goes to 7,000, 7,400. So if the volatility normalizes, okay, if the difference is not that much, like 72 and 78, instead it's 68 and 70, that the volatility is normalizing, then you benefit from that volatility normalization. So you can use ratio spreads under 3 different conditions. When there is contracted move, when there is a congestion, like in this case, trend acceleration or congestion, then you use this strategy, and then when there is volatility skew. But please don't try this volatility skew method in the Nifty, because in Nifty what happens is that in the most like 90% of the time you will have this positive volatility skew, in the sense that out of the money put options are more expensive than at the money put options. This is because of hedging. Okay, so don't assume that there will be normalization of volatility in Nifty, volatility skew. It will not happen. So don't attempt these kind of things on the indices. You can attempt them on stocks. Okay, to summarize, ratio spreads are a complex and high risk strategy due to a net short option. They capture moderate underlying moves, right? You should target small moves. There is a big move, so you take off the risk by buying another out of the money put option or call option, depending on which ratio spread you are doing. And this is a short volatility, theta decay, and directional strategy. Okay, because you are betting on these 3 things. Now, these strategies should be placed when implied volatility is high. When the implied volatility is high, because you have one net short option, if there is a decrease in volatility, then you benefit, right? The higher the implied volatility, the higher the chance that the volatility will crash at some point of time. So you will benefit from that particular aspect of the ratio spread. And these ratio spreads are used to trade contra-trend moves, trend deceleration or congestion in the market or the stock, and then when there is a volatility skew. So that is all AP from me. If you don't have any more questions.
No, I don't. I don't have any more questions.
Okay then. Okay, folks. Goodbye.
Yeah, thank you. Goodbye.